All right, guys, what's going on? We are going Zoom interview for a few reasons. I don't know if you've heard, but the world's changed a little bit in the last week as it relates to us getting out and about, meeting referral partners, meeting clients. Also, you might have heard, but the environment's also changed with rates and giving us a tremendous opportunity to do a lot of units, a lot of volume, support a lot of clients. That requires new skills. That gives us an opportunity that if we're able to be a little bit more efficient and leverage more of the digital tools, we're going to be in a position to serve more of our community than others. And as you guys can see on my left or right, I don't know where it's going to be on your screen, I've got Justin Perry with me. Justin, thanks for doing this, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. So I grabbed Justin because in passing, I had a conversation with Mark McGowan, and Mark goes, yeah, last week, Justin, with no assistant, took 50 applications, pretty much has all of them set and done, was able through all of this craziness to still spend time with his family, his wife, his kids, and he wasn't stressed. And I was like, all right, I need to grab that and share it out to the world, because I guarantee you there's things that Justin is doing that maybe we all can learn from. So Justin, first off, is that explanation of what your week 2 weeks ago was like pretty accurate?
Yeah, I mean, the market, it gave us some loans, right? I think everyone was busy.
Yeah.
And when rates hit 3.25, 3.75 with no closing costs, you can grab a lot of that. You got to be prepared.
Yeah. And for those of you who don't know Justin, Justin is a producing leader of ours up in New Hampshire. And when I think, Justin, you and I have been on the same team now for what, about 7 or 8 years?
Yeah, I've been here for 12 between the Mortgage Master Loan Depot legacy. Yeah.
Oh my God, we're old. So 12 years, I meant to say, on the same team. By the way, he still looks like he got into the business a week ago, and all I do is keep aging. But Justin's career, I mean, he has continued year after year after year, continuing to grow his business, continue to grow his reputation in New Hampshire. So we're not exactly talking Manhattan average loan amounts. How much volume did you do last year, Justin?
Yeah, people forget we have an office up here. I think I did about 75 million last year.
75 million, guys, in New Hampshire. So maybe you should stay tuned and watch this one. I think you're going to learn a lot. So I'm just going to jump into the questions that we prepared because, frankly, you don't want to listen from me. You want to listen from Justin. So Justin, the first one I had was right now with the digital tools, right? A lot has been added to the platform in the last year, dual AUS, e-hybrid. Which of these are you using right now, and which are you seeing most important, if there's any that are standing out?
The timing is a good one. I just got off the phone with a loan officer who used to work here. He's at a bank, and I heard rumors they were capping them on refis and cutting them off. And so I reached out to him. He said, yeah. He goes, but it's not a money problem or liquidity or warehouse lines. They're capping us at 15 loans per week per loan officer, because it's the amount of disclosures we can send. And I'm thinking that's the last reason you would think you'd cap volume, is because of ability to disclose. So normally one tool I would never even think of is just the self-disclose. To us, it's so simple to click a button and disclose a loan in seconds. You wouldn't think it would cap you from actually taking in new loans to disclose. But you've got to use them all, right? You can't just be all in on learning dual AUS. You can't just start to really understand the consumer portal. If you're going to deliver a great experience, it's got to be start to finish, from appraisal waivers, dual AUS, consumer portal, asset income verification. You've got to have a firm grasp on all of those to really deliver a good experience to the customer.
So admittedly, on my cheat sheet, guys, when I was putting this together, I had written down dual AUS, e-hybrid, consumer portal. Yeah, self-disclose was nowhere to be found on that. That's fascinating, actually. I hope our recruiters are watching this, because that's a selling point I didn't even think about with the banks.
Well, we take it for granted, I think, right? A lot of these things we do.
Yeah. So we've got people that are around the country now, like where I'm at, kids are not in school. Sports have been postponed or canceled altogether. So the face-to-face interaction obviously has gone down. I think it's going to continue to go down throughout the country. When you're talking to that client for the first time, what's your setup? Like how are you leveraging these to explain to the client how you're still going to be able to serve them, as well as create differentiation from yourself in the market?
Sure. I mean, what we're going through now just sort of highlights it. But even if we weren't in this situation, going back to the taking the tools for granted, you've got to really highlight to the customer what you're doing. when you go into their file and income is already verified, or you're able to verify it, you're going to tell them, right? How great is this? I don't need any pay stubs, nothing. Your income's fully verified. I don't need any assets. I see you already linked your Citizens account. There's 20 grand in there. That's more than we're going to need to close. Oh, and by the way, I just got an appraisal waiver. It's so easy to jump into a file and get excited that you got all those things. But if you don't tell the customer that you got it and what it means for them, it's lost on them. They just sort of assume they're going to go through the normal mortgage process. And these people are out there shopping right now.
Yeah.
So if they talk to you, we had a client the other day. Guy in my office took a deal, same rate as the other lender. And the lady says, well, I was going to go down later today and drop off my docs. Like, what is it even, right? Like a bag of docs. You just picture like tax returns and stuff.
Yeah.
He says to her, I heard the conversation. It was great. He goes, I don't think I was clear enough. Probably, I don't think you understood. You're done. I need a driver's license and I might need a mortgage statement. And then you got to send me who your insurance guy is or gal, and I'll grab that info from them.
Yeah.
But your income is verified. Your assets are verified. I don't need an appraisal. There'll be no dropping off of docs. Now, this is last week. We weren't in the same climate we are right now with the virus. That holds a lot more weight when she doesn't have to come in and drop off docs. So you've got to explain to them what all these digital tools mean to them, and take a minute to really talk it up. Because if you don't tell them that they got a waiver and their income's verified, they just think they're going through a normal mortgage process.
Yeah. Well, and I was getting, you actually stole one of the questions I was going to ask was, with the environment, then are you tying it to that a little bit more than you see, like where, look, I don't know where we're going to be this time next week. If something happens where we physically can't meet, we're going to be able to run this entire process digitally. And we're going to be able to do it without missing a beat, without taking a step back. In fact, we'll probably go faster if we run everything digitally. Do you expect to leverage, unfortunately, the climate to support clients?
I mean, haven't yet. A lot of these loans we're talking about really were coming in early last week, and before that, and in New Hampshire, we didn't have any cases at that point. But that's going to be a real thing, especially if you're locking for 60 days. You hope that we're sort of through the worst of it by then. And there's really no need to ever come in and drop off anything.
Okay. Now, with regards to, you had said something, because one thing I didn't note, guys, maybe I did, and I forget if I said it. Justin doesn't have an assistant. He did 74 million last year, 50 apps 2 weeks ago, was not stressed, and he doesn't have an assistant. Where some of us might have multiple assistants with the volume that he did. Justin, you had explained something to me with what you're doing when you're actually in the file. Like, you're like, no, I'm making sure there are no loose ends, no anything I got to remember to go back. Can you talk about that a little bit, and how your client interview or client setup conversation is enabling you to do that?
You got to be organized, right? And I truly believe that the tools we have, like, we were built for this. Taking refis right now is so easy with the tools that we have. But I see too many LOs get bogged down and thrown off by 3 new loans. And I watched a loan officer do this. And they're taking one loan and they're ordering a fee sheet on a different loan, or running AUS on a third loan. And they're all over the place. I just hop in one file, start to finish, order the fee sheet. While you're talking to them, if I haven't verified income, while they're talking, I'm in the consumer portal, right? Okay, I'm going to need to paste it from this guy, W-2. I'm typing it in there and sending him the request while he's talking. If I get out of that file and hop into a different one, it's like, wait, where's this guy work again? And what did I need from him? Didn't he have some special K1 I might have needed? If you just stay in that loan, start to finish, until you trigger an application, when I get out of it, it's done. When I get that fee sheet in from the attorney, that's my trigger to go and update fees and disclose. Nothing else needs to be done. I'm just waiting for a fee sheet. As soon as that's in, that loan's getting disclosed. I don't need to touch it again. The consumer portal's been filled out, what they need to get me.
They're saying this is like old school, right? The old, take a great app up front and we'd send here's the checklist of items I need, and I need it back in 24 hours. But instead of sending them an email with a list and expecting 24, what you're doing is we're going to do this in this 30-minute window. Like I'm going to go through the checklist. I'm going to tell you exactly what I need, and we're not getting off the phone until we're done. So then that way I can serve you better. You're ripping the Band-Aid off, so to speak. And that enables you to have a more process-oriented, way of managing your pipeline. and making sure that you have nothing left over to complete to get this, the file to move forward.
Yeah, and I'm not saying anyone try doing this without an assistant. But if you're super organized, and I've got systems for most of what I do, it sounds like I'm really anal. I'm a pretty relaxed guy, but
yeah.
I couldn't find a spot in this process to insert somebody else. I think I would end up confusing it or double data entry, or sort of by the time it would take me to explain to someone what we need on a file, I can just hop in the consumer portal in 2 seconds to do it myself. I've thought about incorporating someone into it, but I just can't find a place in there that it would be more efficient to add an extra body. So,
well, especially now because we're not meeting clients as often, right? Again, going back to this climate. And so we've got to find impactful conversations that you're adding that local consultative value. And if you've got a process that is boom, 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 there's only so many checkpoints, and this is a pretty important checkpoint, because you obviously want to take this one file and turn it into another. And I had another question ahead of this, but I'll jump to that since I just pivoted to it. The other thing you mentioned to me is, Shane, I'm maniacal about making sure that this one client's going to turn into 2 or 3. What's your script there? Like, what are you grabbing in this environment to get more business out of it?
Sure. I mean, people want to work with people that they have fun. If they have a fun process with you, they're going to want to refer you, right? Long after the mortgage is done, they forget that it had no closing costs. Most of my clients forget that anyways. They're like, yeah, he just rolled it. I'm like, no, I didn't. We paid those closing costs. But if you make the process easy and you treat them really well, they're going to want to refer you. And there's no better time than right at the beginning that your income's been verified. We get an appraisal waiver. Even if you don't get half of those things, you're lowering the rate, you're saving them money. Ask them, who else can I help out? And especially if you're using all these digital validation tools, who else can I help out? They're going to be at work talking about mortgage rates. They're going to refer you. It's even better when they come back. I have clients come back to me and they're laughing at their buddy at work who's doing a mortgage, and that guy's dropping off docs. He just had an appraiser at his house, coughing through right? It's when they see friends go through the mortgage process, doing kind of what they expected to do, but they were pleasantly surprised that you're able to get this done with so much fewer docs and interactions than they thought.
Yeah.
They're going to be so much more likely to refer you, but you still got to ask. Honestly, a lot of people say to me, hey, I gave your cell phone number to my brother. Is it okay that I did that? Shame on me, right? For not making it abundantly clear that if I do a good job, please refer me. If you don't ask for it, most people won't do it. I'll even tell people they owe me. If you get green check boxes all the way down your digital validation tool, so there's like nothing needed but a driver's license, I tell them in return for this easy mortgage you're about to get, you owe me 2. You don't even owe me 1. You owe me 2 referrals.
Love it.
Right?
And you're doing that in that setup conversation, and you see these check boxes. So you're doing in the very beginning, where I think some of us wait until later in the process to feel like they owe us something, so to speak. Hey, we closed your loan. Can you help me out? What you're saying is, no, I owe you. You owe me something up front because of the work that I clearly have saved you from if you went to somebody else and done business with somebody else.
You always ask up front. A lot can happen in 60 days. You're never going to look better than you do the day that you've locked in a lower rate with no cost, no appraisal, right? It's by the end, sometimes it's just, they forget what they got.
Yeah.
Ask right away.
Yeah. There's studies that say it's like the part that you're most excited about something is not when you actually get it. It's the journey towards getting it. And then when you get it, it's kind of like, oh, this was it. Okay. And you're taking advantage of that exciting cycle, of
you notice in the documents too, not even requesting a referral, just requesting docs.
Yeah.
If I'm on the phone with you and I'm like, Shane, I'm actually sending you a list as we're talking. Yeah, I see it right here. Pay stub W-2. I'm gonna start getting those. They'll get those first docs the same day. That they feel like they're gonna lose their rate if they don't get them to you.
Yep. Love it.
And then now you ask for docs in a week. It takes them days to get them, right? As the process goes on, the cycle at which they send you docs back gets longer and longer and longer.
Now, the question that I skipped over, this is a tactical thing that I guarantee you some of our originators are doing, but maybe not all, that you're doing that from a pricing perspective, from a rate that you're able to offer your client perspective. You've been able to take advantage of dual AUS and kind of LTV range based upon what waivers we're getting, on the home value to give a sharper price, or again, to maintain revenue inside of your business. Can you talk about that a little bit and how you're using the waiver tool?
Yeah, I hope most are doing it. I try really hard to get a waiver on almost every file now. If it's in an urban area where there's lots of sales, you're getting a waiver, I don't know, 90% of the time. I don't know what the math is on it. It feels like I'm getting it 100% of the time. DU will go up to 90. But if you get the appraisal waiver at, let's say I sell a refi and I think it's going to be an 80 LTV and I get the waiver. Most LOs, I think, just like, this is great, I got a waiver, and they move on. See if you can increase the value and keep the waiver at 75. Now you just picked up, I think it's 25 basis points at a 75 LTV versus an 80, right? Or if you run it at 70 and you get a waiver, keep going. If you get a waiver at 60, you pick up a ton of pricing. It lets you offer a lower rate if it's getting competitive. It certainly gets rid of PEs. I talked this to a lot of my LOs, and you don't see as many PEs coming through. If you sold it at 80 and you get a waiver at 75 LTV, you now got a PE holdback you can use to pay for extensions if you have to. So don't just take that first waiver. Or if you don't get a waiver, at a 65 LTV, increase the value. Yeah. These are things I assume most LOs know, but the more LOs I talk to, they just, like, a lot of them thought actually you had to use the purchase price. No, they bought within a year. I have to go off of the purchase price. Yeah. And if no one told me that you couldn't, right, I'd probably assume the same if I was told that. Yeah. So play with your values, see if you get a waiver. If you don't, adjust it. And if you do get it, keep going with the values, or you can take it.
Well, and in other words, we're not appraisers. So let's not assume that we know what the value of the home is. I mean, this is why the analytics and the algorithms exist, is to give us the home value. So let's take advantage of that home value to create an LTV that's giving us more revenue to manage our business with, short form.
Yeah, if I didn't do their last loan, then I'd have some data on the value. I'm just looking on Zillow, right? And who says they know what the value is, right? So I'm just getting a reasonable starting point on Zillow. Look at the assessed value and go up or down from there to see if you get a waiver.
Two more questions. The first one is, have you leveraged this, whether it be in this market, with, again, the social distancing and everything else, the data tools that we have, to get realtor referrals, to get financial advisor referrals, to really just get referral partners, or even before this environment? Like, how have you leveraged, the ability for us to do a loan without the person having to drop us docs to win you other referrals, or referring partners, I should say?
It's similar to what I said before, where they have no idea what the mortgage process is like. So if a realtor refers you a deal, don't just tell the client that you got them pre-approved with no income, no assets needing to be verified. Call the realtor and tell them, this guy's good to go. Fully vetted his income and his assets. They're going to be like, I just referred you half an hour ago. How did you do that? And tell them, right? And then when they refer their other guy, right, the next day, let's say, it takes them 2 days to pre-approve the guy because he's waiting on a pay stub, right? And then they keep thinking back to you, the loan officer at Loan Depot. Oh, wait, he got this thing done in 30 seconds. Yeah. It's not going to be every deal, right? But you got to make sure you're sharing with your referral partners what you're doing. We take for granted that that's just how it is over here. Yeah. A lot of lenders don't have this.
And also sharing when waivers come up, because I think I just personally am forecasting, and really this is a steal, I think it was from Fiddler and Tammy. In certain parts of the country, appraisals are going to be an issue. Yeah. It's going to be an issue. And with the lack of appraisers, because of the difficulty of getting in to be an appraiser, we all know the story. The more waivers we get, the more time that we're going to save. Realtors are going to be hunting for solutions like this. So basically bragging, but keeping them informed. It's going to be huge. The other thing that I'm encouraging people to do is equip your realtors to be able to sell your digital service, right? Like when they say, hey, by the way, I want you to give Justin a call because Justin is my partner. The reason why I want you to call Justin is because he has the highest chance of giving you an appraisal waiver. He has the highest chance of being able to do business without any paperwork. So get them to be able to sell your digital experience, which means if they give out 3 names or 2 names, you're going to be the first one they call because the realtor has been selling the service that's appropriate for this environment, right?
I think I have a realtor who oversells it. I had a client call me and say that the realtor said we do no-doc loans, and I had to sort of just dial it back a little bit with what was really going on. But yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Did we talk about the hybrid e-close at all?
One more time.
Do you want to bring up the hybrid e-close we had talked about?
I do actually. Yeah, thank you. Because and by the way, guys, we did prepare questions before this. This is Justin's way of saying, Shane, you forgot to talk about hybrid e-close. So thanks, man. I appreciate it. Because again, from a closing ceremony perspective, guys, people don't want to be locked into a room for an hour with other human beings. The the least amount of time that you can help them have to engage with the people face to face, it matters. Justin, can you talk about this? Because yeah, I know you guys have, I think, won deals off of this, but can you talk about it?
I use it to win over realtors by, you've got to get your attorney on board. Okay. It's like if it's a different attorney or title agent that's coming, sometimes they show up, they didn't bring the package that was the hybrid e-signed, and it doesn't go well. If you've got your trusted attorney on board, let them know, hey, I've got a new list agent and buy agent I've never worked with. I want you to really sell this hybrid e-close, right? Obviously, make sure you bring the right package, but when you're there, really talk up how quick this process went. Like, guys, we're done. You signed everything. Once you have a realtor go through a hybrid e-close in 5 or 10 minutes, and then you can spend the rest of the time buyers and sellers exchanging stories on the home, going over the CD maybe in greater length, they don't want to go back. I have a lot of realtors now telling me once they do a hybrid e-close, and then again, sort of like the getting compared to your peers, the next day they have a closing with their other mortgage guy, and it's an hour long, right? And there's a stack of papers. They want the hybrid e-close back. They don't necessarily appreciate it as much when they're in it. Then they go back to a regular full closing.
Yeah.
They don't want to do it again.
Yeah.
So again, we take it for granted, right? Oh, it's just a quicker closing. But these realtors might have 3 closings a week at an hour a pop. If you can give them an hour of their day back, it's nice.
Well, it's like the Uber effect, right? Where have any of us actually tried to order a cab?
Right.
Lately, like the process. Oh my God, I got to Google the phone number. Oh man, I got to dial. Oh man, I got to talk. Like going from Uber, where it's just click a button and there I am. Yeah, they're going to come to me. To that, it just, even though it's only 2 minutes, it just feels like forever and so much work. So yeah. Yep. Last thing is, with going from a different angle of just the digital tools, but also digital communication, what are you going to add to your business right now to talk about these things? From a marketing perspective, are you going to go to email more, text message more? Is video going to be coming? Because we're going to have to talk about this story. Like, we can't stop prospecting, obviously. What are you going to do from a marketing and communication perspective in this environment that maybe is a little bit different than what you were doing even a month ago to make sure that you're continuing to build your business?
Before this last wave of refis came in, I was committed to going all video, and I have to give you credit. You kind of knocked me over the head with it. When we rolled out so many new things, and it was the one where we get triggers for credit pulls and triggers for homes being listed for sale.
Yeah.
You really can't explain to a realtor, A, why do we do that? And B, the benefit to them. You just can't put it in an email. I don't know how you could type that up where they would read the whole thing and understand, oh, wow, this makes sense for me.
Yeah.
With video, you can really drive it home. All the things that we're doing. I mean, we do so much. Most of our LOs don't even know or use half the stuff we have. So realtors certainly can't appreciate what we have. So if you break it down, I want to start doing like a once a week video series texted to all realtors, right? They're going to open it, keep it under a minute, quick video of what Loan Depot is doing to help our referral partners.
Yeah.
It's just, they don't open emails anymore. And the stuff that we're doing just can't be described in an email. Not as good as it can in a video.
And the thing that I'm still learning that you just hit on also is, and you guys know this unfortunately about me, is like, I just want to get it all out, and so even still when I do video, like I've got 18 bullets, that are there. And that's tough. That's tough. Like at the end of it, our job is to progress them further down the path, not to make them experts in one fell swoop, right? And so if we view it as we're good with our realtors today, so if we just gave them a little bit this week, they're better this week, and then a little bit more the next week, and they're a little bit further down. That's going to stretch out your value education, right? Like you said, 1 minute, one thing once a week. So now you've got stuff to continue to touch them on, but it's also going to probably hit home, right? Instead of a 10-minute video where it's got 5,000 things, just one short 60-second at a time. eventually it's like pieces to a puzzle. You're going to build a full kind of framed puzzle where they're going to be able to sell you and work with you more effectively because you gave them bite-sized chunks to understand. Yeah, sure. I'm in. So this video, man, obviously went a little bit longer in terms of interview. I expected because there's so much, but is there anything that we missed? Anything else that we should add here?
No, I mean, one thing that always resonates with me, and Tammy had mentioned this early on, is you've got to get the client into our digital ecosystem as early as possible. I won a deal the other day, purchase, same rate the other lender had. And the realtor called. He goes, I want you to know this because I think you'll appreciate it. They called me to tell me that they're going with you because they love the online portal and basically our digital ecosystem.
Yeah.
It's just easy, right? They're used to shopping on Amazon. They want to do it from their phone. They like to log in and see as they upload documents, they disappear. They know they don't have to call me and say, what else do we owe you? They see it sitting there in their portal to be uploaded. And the realtor was like, that was really cool. That they left the guy they were with. You offered them the same rate only because all the while from pre-approval stage on, I had them in their ecosystem, in the portal, getting used to it, like attaching their assets digitally, and they get used to it. And then as soon as they go back to their guy and he starts asking them to just unencrypted send, W2 PDFs or drop stuff off, that's when you're going to get them. They're going to realize, wow, we're done over here. It's so much easier. So get them into that ecosystem right when you pre-approve them. Ask them for some docs through the portal. Get them invested into it, and they'll appreciate it.
Yeah, and then again, like you had said, you've got that realtor understanding the digital support you're providing, which means for the next client, they're going to tell that story. Like, hey, my other clients have gone to Justin because of the experience they have. I'll give you another name because I feel like it's what I got to do. But if you want a smooth, quick, efficient process that you can do from your home, Justin's your guy, and they'll sell you that.
Well, it was perfect because this was a Zillow client. I do a Zillow campaign with this realtor. When he called me, I said, you know what? I said, that's why we were built for this. Your clients are finding you on Zillow. They don't know you and they don't know me. But we're going to deliver an awesome digital experience that they're used to in Zillow. As soon as another lender starts asking for paper docs, right, it gets a little clunky. They haven't touched a piece of paper throughout the whole process, and we can keep that going. Now that realtor's all in.
Awesome. Dude, I really appreciate this. I know how busy you are. Thank you. I know that I got a lot of value, but I know everyone else will. Guys, if you have any questions to Justin, I can tell you that as busy as he is, as long as he doesn't get flooded with hundreds, he'd be happy to help. If you want to filter them through me first, I'm obviously happy to help in that regard. If any of you have other stories that you think would value the rest of the company to learn from, reach out to me. We can do these kinds of interviews going forward because the digital adoption that we have, the way that we communicate with our referral partners, the way we communicate with our clients in this kind of climate right now, guys, is really, really important. It's really, really differentiating. We've got to realize, as Justin said, we can't take for granted that everyone has this or everyone understands it because much of the market doesn't because they haven't leaned into these digital tools the way that we have. So let's continue to help one another. And again, Justin, man, I really appreciate this, dude. Thank you.
You do, Shane. Take care.
All right, guys, take care. Bye.